Good day to you. Hope you're doing well on this Sunday. This is David Richard Almo with Balancing the Triad Body, Mind, and Spirit. Give you a heads up, I'm not for sure completely what direction this video is going to go, so see what happens. Yesterday I mentioned the aspect about appreciating the connection with your loved ones. And I mentioned that I was heading to a memorial service for my uncle. Here it is at the end of June. He passed away in November. We finally got a chance to meet up with everybody. Now, a lot of times, it's the first time a lot of our family has seen each other with anywhere between 7 to 19 months. So, before I get into that, let me give you a little background so you understand where I'm coming from with this. My mother comes from a large family. There's 15 kids in the family. And growing up, we grew up next to my grandparents. So my sister and I got to see my aunts and uncles on a regular basis, sometimes daily. A lot of times they come over on the lunch break or break or something like that there. We got to see them regularly. There was a pool behind our house, so we had regular barbecues, swim parties. And at Christmas, even to this day, other than with the COVID crap, we have a building where we rent out and got to see each other. We rent a building. And in elementary school, sister and I didn't understand that not everyone had families like that and that were big like that and always got together. So I got to see my relatives a lot and got to understand it. And so growing up, I got to see my relatives again. I could see my relatives all the time. Got to appreciate them always being there. And as an adult, it came around to realize a lot of people, the connections my family have is very close. A lot of my aunts and uncles, their best friends are their siblings or even their in-laws, their brother and sister-in-laws. They are their best friends. And yesterday, it was wonderful to see family again. And even with, there's been some family trips where they're all on a plane talking around, joking up, enjoying each other. They go, what company are you with? Because no, we're family. Goes, you talk to each other? You enjoy each other's company? It's like, yeah, we do. We have family get-togethers where you might start to say goodbye. 30 to 60 minutes later, you're still there talking. When we get together, we don't have a hard time getting together. We have a hard time separating because we want to still keep visiting. We want to keep, I can do this, a little emotional here. We keep talking and appreciating each other's company. Now for myself, when I dealt with cancer, anytime I believe you go through something traumatic like that, you get a toll on your body, your physical body, your mental body, your spiritual body. Now I don't know how it affects everybody else, but I know when I was in recovery, even I think it was 2 or 3 weeks, well, it was either 3 or 4 weeks after my follow-up, I got to go to one of my cousin's weddings. So it was the first time I've seen family in quite a while. And I noticed for me, I was definitely a lot more emotional. Family come up and give me a hug. If they were hung on a little longer, I was almost losing to start bawling my eyes out. Now that kind of drifted somewhat back to normal, if you can call it that. But for me, I still get quite emotional at times. And I don't know whether it has to do with the cancer process and dealing with that kind of brought down some of the walls I had around me or what. I'm not quite for sure. But yesterday, getting to see family, it was, like I said, even this right here, I can do this. It was just wonderful to see. I got to see one of my cousins I haven't seen in probably about 6 years. And him and I grew up together. Talking to some other relatives about some different things, the same thing there. I got some close to times where I eyes just almost started falling. But when I went through the cancer, I realized the importance of body, mind, and spirit. But I also understood the support of love. The connection I had from my family, from my friends, and even from strangers definitely played a factor on helping me get through what I did. So give you kind of background. That background there is why family is one of the most important things to me. And it's one of the reasons why I would love to be able to live in a different location, but having a 6-hour drive from family, I don't know if I want that. That's one of the areas I'd love to go to, but it's like, I don't know if I want to be that far away from family. So with that, again, yesterday I got to see some relatives. I got to see one of my cousins I haven't seen in 6 years, and him and I were always playing together. Got to see a second cousin I haven't probably seen longer than that. But now, you might not have necessarily a connection like I have with my family, but can you help to formulate that with either your family or friends? Can you help to maybe start to establish some type of connection with that? Because when it comes to your health and wellness, a lot of people do work on their body. They're like, okay, I need to exercise, I need to lose weight. Sometimes it's about as far as it goes. Maybe mindset's like, okay, I'm always negative, I want to be positive. But the spiritual part, sometimes that is left out, and that could be the missing piece. Excuse me. So, as you've heard, if you've been following me for a little bit, you know the three parts about spirituality that I talk about is connection to yourself, connection to your family or those around you, and the connection to the environment and or higher power. So that it's called communal spirituality. So having that connection with the people, family, and friends around you can be so important, especially if you go through something very traumatic like a severe diagnosis of sorts. You really need that support to help lift you up and carry you through that. So I knew I cared and loved about my family, but with the cancer, I realized how important that actually was. So now, like I said yesterday, there's a couple times where just talking there, I get to see my cousin. I want to talk with one of my other cousins about one of our uncles who had passed previously, and yeah, a couple times there, I could feel the tears starting to swell up and almost ready to kind of gush forth. Because I at least kind of hold together mostly. Maybe part of that is holding together comes from the old idea that males really aren't supposed to show their emotions very much. But when it comes to that, I was thinking of a Tim McGraw song. I don't know why they say grown men don't cry. But nice, I just want to give you background, understand where I'm coming from. And it's something I think a lot of times I mentioned to my family, one of our family Christmases, I said something to everybody, is that most people don't have that. We might actually take it for granted. But the idea here is what I want to represent for you is in what way could you start establishing something like that in your life? Whether it is with your family or whether it's with your friends, that sometimes friends are family. In what way can you start establishing your version of having that closeness together, to have your communal spirituality? Maybe it's with a church group, but just to have that close connection to where you want to talk to each other, you want to visit, you don't want to stop talking, you want to keep visiting together. Again, like it's a running joke with our family. You'll start to say goodbye, as I already mentioned here. You might start to say 36 minutes later or longer, you're still there talking, haven't quite said goodbye yet. And that's what it's been like with my family, and I really appreciate that. And I know a lot of people don't quite have that. But again, the idea is, what can you do in your life to help establish that? Even if it's just with one person, for starters. And then start maybe bringing someone else in. Because that communality, that connection, can be so important in your life in so many different ways. So that's what I just want to share with you. I got some lessons I learned from yesterday, yesterday's video I mentioned I was probably going to expand on this, and that's what I want to do. So yes, cherish the time with your family, with your loved ones. We don't know how long we have on this plane. I mean, you could step up to something can happen to your favorite person in the world. They might not wake up tomorrow. There can be a car accident or anything, but cherish the time with them. I hope for my uncle's children, my cousins, that this was the type of closure for them to finally have this resolve with family being there and to be able to sit there and say, okay, it's done. Now we can kind of move on a little more. So that's what I want to share with you today. So cherish that time with your loved ones. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know how, in what ways you're able to spend the time with your loved ones, and what ways do you cherish with them. All right, so enjoy the last of the weekend as we start into a new week tomorrow. So take care and bounce into you. Bye-bye.